Yo, what's up, Chaos and family? What's up, Chaos Network? It's your Chaos leader, Chaos Hero here. Before we get into the video, I did notice some comments earlier from my last video on the deck profile of the Lunar Lights. Look, I will gladly say this again, and I will gladly repeat this. I already know what you expect out of the deck profile. Everybody and their mother has done everything. This is not just for a person to comment, it's for everyone that looks at this video. I don't do competitive builds. Every YouTuber and their mother has done a competitive YouTubing build on this Lunar Light deck. I already know the basis, I already know the staples and the must-haves in the deck as far as competitive variants. That is not being underestimated. But what I will tell you is, I only do pure builds because nobody really knows how to build a pure build. And honestly, yes, people don't want to, but that's people that are competitive builds. So if you're in a competitive mindset and you want a competitive build, this most likely sometimes isn't the channel for you. The only time I ever have to substitute in this channel is when the certain archetype is not getting enough support, or I cannot get my hands on a certain card that I need at the time. That being said, like I said, if this is the deck profile or this isn't the kind of channel for you, by all means, there are other YouTubers that you can do what you want. And you can do it yourself. That is all I can say. But other than that, let's have a good time getting into the deck profile that we're going to do today, okay? So today's deck profile is going to be on Dinomist. It's going to consist of a lot of pendulums. It's going to be a pure archetype. Only 3 copies of one generic staple in the main deck and a little bit of generic staples in the extra deck. And some honorable mentions that should be in the extra deck as well as the main deck. But like I said, if you can figure out a way to make this competitive, by all means, do you big dog, and do you well, okay? Be yourself. But at this point, I do my deck profiles here because I like to build the foundation of the deck before, hey, adding some stuff to it, taking out some stuff, making this deck a lot better and more competitive. Other than that, let's get into the deck profile. So this is it's basically, the main deck is consisted of 4 versions of 4 different level 4s and 4 different level 5s. All of which, if you're going to build this deck profile pure and have fun with it, I'm not going to guarantee you go shop. So locals, well, with this deck profile, so don't get no promises on this. If you want to build where, like I said, more competitive, you want to go to shops or at least make it to, regionals, by all means, if you want to do and give you that bit of advice. As far as me, this is what I do. So when you view this video, there's a lot of YouTubers that can help with this. But my deck profile is going to consist of 3 Dinomist and Kylo. It is a level 4 attributed water pendulum machine type monster, skill 6, with 1500 attack and 2000 defense. Basically like an Ankylosaurus. Super. Its pendulum effect is once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate the activated card effect that targets another Dinomist cards you control, then destroy this card. Its other effect in the monster, while it's in the monster zone, it is banish any monster destroyed by battle with a Dinomist monster you control. So this is basically your bottomless trap. Well, it's kind of your different dimensional rift, basically. Your DDD dimensional rift, kind of. So you destroy a monster, you banish. It actually prevents a lot of threats that can, bounce themselves out of the graveyard or put themselves from the graveyard out into the field or back into the hand and build some synergy. So this is a basic generic card, but it's still good. 3 copies of Plesios, Dinomist Plesios, level 4, water attributed, skill 6. It has 1700 attack and 1400 defense. It is a machine type pendulum monster. Its pendulum effect, while it's in the scales, once while this card is in the pendulum zone, and only once, you can negate the activated card effect that targets another Dinomist cards. That means Dinomist cards that that you control. Then destroy this card. So basically, if I have this in the scales, if my opponent MSTs this specific card, I can't do anything. But let's say if I have this or another card on the other side of the scales, just for chucks and grins, I target, Ankylo, okay, I destroy, Plesios to protect Ankylo on the scales. then put down a skill 3. It's basically just back row protection, or any kind of row protection, basically, besides itself. Then we have must-have, and these are a hard card to find. It is really difficult to find, and it's really, really hard to find due to the fact that either 1, it's out of stock, 2, it's in low pricing, or 3, it's very high priced, and it's decently high priced. It's like a $5 card. If you can spare like $15, by all means, go for it. But it's a really hard card to find. Dinomist Terron. I call it Terron because I don't feel like putting the P, and apparently I've been told that the P is silent, so I'm going to go by Terron. It is a level 4 water attributed scale 3 pendulum machine type monster with 1800 attack and 1200 defense. Its pendulum effect is if another Dinomist cards you control would be destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, you can destroy this card instead. So basically, it's kind of a take one for the team kind of deal with this whole card. Like, MST, Dinomist charge. Okay, destroy this card instead, because it says Dinomist cards, not Dinomist monsters. So that actually protects a lot of the back row and a lot of the front row with this card, which makes this card literally great. And I can see the reason why it's so sought after. But other than that, let's move on. And for last but not last of the level 4 pendulum machine monsters, we got Dinomist Stegosaur. He's a level 4 water attributed, which you're already catching on to what's going on right now. Scale 3 machine type pendulum monster with 1600 attack and 1800 defense. Its pendulum effect is if another Dinomist cards, means more than one, just letting y'all know, you control would be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect. You can destroy this card instead. Its monster zone effect while it's in the main monster zone is if another pendulum monster you control battles an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, you can destroy those cards, those monsters. So basically, if another Dinomist monster you control battles, let's say Spino's effect. You contribute one Dinomist monster on the field and attack directly. You attack directly, damage calculation, destroy those monsters, basically. But it has to battle an opponent's monster. So, like, say if, Melodious Diva. I'm pretty sure, Melodious Diva would actually kind of protect herself. It was a video in very interesting thing. Or super heavies, detach one, discard one Soul Flame Armor. Then Soul Flame Armor's effect, he loses 0, he goes down to 0, but he cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn. So after damage calculation, it's up to you, basically. That's how it works. Now, moving on to level 5s, we are going into level 5, water attributed, scale 3, machine type pendulum monster, Dinomist Triceratops, or Ceratops, as they call it, not Triceratops. Basically, he's a 2100 attack and 400 defense. His pendulum effect while he's in the scales, always got to mention that, can't forget. If another Dinomist cards, meaning more than one, you control would be destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can destroy this card instead. While in main monster zone, if all monsters you control are Dinomist monsters, and at the minimum has to be 1, that's the minimum, and none of them are Dinomist Ceratops, you can special summon this card from your hand. So basically, it's kind of like it acts kind of similar to Link Slayer and what else? Oh, Cyber Dragon, or basically the Galaxy Photon Slasher, I believe, Photon Slasher. Basically, but it has a more specific thing. If you control only one Dinomist monster, and then you special summon, hey, bam, Ceratops, because there's no other Ceratops on the field. So that's the way you can special summon him. So it's a pretty interesting effect, and it's good. He's a 21 beer. Who wouldn't like that? Now, this guy, I love him. He is awesome. And then on top of that, he's based off one of my favorite dinosaurs because, I was a big fan of Jurassic Park 3, and when Spinos came out, he was pretty dope to me. He was really awesome. And the fact that he whooped T-Rex's butt, it was really funny. My apologies. He's a level 5 water attributed scale 3 pendulum machine type monster with 2,500 attack and 1,800 defense. Look at that thing. Yo, look back at it. He's still thick. Anyways, his pendulum effect, if another Dinomist cards, means more than one, y'all. Remember that. If y'all see that abbreviation with the S, that means more than one. So it can be either one or more than one. You control would be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects, and you can destroy this card instead. That's why he's in the pendulum zone. Now let's check out what he's doing in the main monster zone. In the main monster zone, you contribute one other Dinomist monster, then activate one of the effects. Effect 1 of the paragraph. This card can attack your opponent directly this turn. So he's basically, oh, my apologies. He's basically an Anki, if you will, or just says, hey, I'm just going to jump over you all and attack your opponent. Its second effect, this card can make a second attack each battle phase this turn. So it's a great way to basically say, hey, I don't like your monsters. I can overpower them. I got Plesios on the field, so all your monsters are decreased, so I'm going to bop those two and get rid of them. And if there's still 2 monsters left over, or, one monster is still alive, hey, kill that one too, because it works with Stegos. Then we have the other Dinomist level 5 water attributed pendulum machine type monster with 2,000 attack and 800 defense, scale 6, coming in at 2,078 million tons. No, I'm just playing. We got Dinomist Brachion. Big old Brachion. I'm sorry. I just feel like there's a Power Ranger moment going on here, and I really wish I had a Power Ranger theme song going in the background, because this is Power Rangers. Kind of, but no, it's more of Dino Trucks. If you haven't seen Dino Trucks, it's a show on Netflix. My nephew watches it, and it's cool, cute, and adorable. Whatever. Its pendulum effect is, once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate the activated card effect that targets another Dinomist cards you control, then destroy this card. So it basically can destroy MST or negate MST. You're like, MST, destroy target pendulum monster. Yeah, no. Outside of itself. So if your opponent's smart enough, he'll target this card with MST instead of the other scale. Most likely because it says, another, besides basically him. So, unfortunately, that's a way to get over that. Then last but not least, for main deck monsters, the last of the level 5 is your boy, King! The man, the head honcho himself, the big boy! The man, the Kevin Gates. Level 5 water attribute, scale 6, with rocking 2,400 attack and 2,200 defense. That boy, look back at it. Dinomist Rex, or as I call X, because apparently I don't know if you're. Leave down in the comments below if the first names after the word Dinomist, if the first letter of their names is supposed to be silent, because from what my friend told me, the pterodactyl Pteron, even though it has a P in the front of it, the P is silent. So I don't know if the other letters behind before the rest of the name is silent. So I'm just gonna call him X for short, because I don't want to sound like an idiot. But let me know. It's pendulum effect. Let's check him out in the scales. Please, let's do that. Once while this card is in, and this is only once when he's set in the scales. This is the only one. It's a one-time thing when he's set in the scales. Once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate and activate card effects that target another Dinomist cards you control. Then destroy this card. Now, let's check out its Monster Zone effect. See what he's popping with over there. All right. Now, if this card attacks an opponent, attacks at the end of the damage step. So that means if he attacks directly, if he attacks a monster at all, this is just straight up legit attack. You contribute one other Dinomist card, then activate one of the effects. Effect 1. This card can attack an opponent's monster again in a row. So it has to be a monster on the field as well. And if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. Okay, I like that. Okay, the second effect is shuffle one card from your opponent's hand at random or your side of the field into the deck, and he gains 100. So plus that, coupled with that, with Mr. Starboy, he's going to be at 3 stacks. But the effect, so I can clear this up for all y'all, in the hand where you can shuffle one card in the hand, it's random. On the field, it isn't. So if it's a hand, I have to kind of pick, do like one of these things, or not like the other kind of pick. Just pick one out and hope the guy that's the card that I'm trying to get rid of. Or, remind me if I said that OR right there. If it's the field, it's not at random. You can just choose to be like, yeah, I don't like the way he's staring at me. Shuffle him back into the deck. I don't want him out here. That's it for the main deck. Let's get into the spells and trap cards in the back rows. Now, let's get into the trap cards, please. We got 2 copies of Dinomist Eruption. Basically and essentially, Dinomist Eruption is basically saying, hey, if a Dinomist that I control is destroyed by battle or card effect, doesn't matter, I can target one of my opponent's cards on their side of the field and destroy it too. So basically, it's like a tit for tat kind of thing. If I'm going down, you're going down with me kind of situation. And it's a decent trap card. Then we got 3 copies of Dinomist Howling. It's a continuous trap card. It basically brings back the scales that you basically have. And it basically says when you activate this card, you can place 1 or 2 Dinomist Pendulum monsters from your deck into your Pendulum zones. But you cannot special summon any monsters until the next end phase, except Dino monsters. So if you want to splash, let's say, Mechadogoron in there, or any machine-type kaiju, or any generic machine-type monster, you can't really special summon them until the next end phase, except for Dinomist monsters. So they kind of got the same clause like Satellar's with that one. If you haven't seen my Satellar Knight deck profile, check that out, please. Also, 3 copies of Dinomist Rush. You can special summon 1 Dinomist monster and then destroy it at the end phase. So it's more of a quick way to get into Mr. Starboy or Cleavefort's Genius. So you don't want to squander that kind of opportunity. Or for a last-minute OTK if your opponent board wipes you and you're just lucky enough to have that card face down on the field. 3 copies of Dinomist Charge. Basically, what Dinomist Charge allows you to do, search the deck for 1 Dinomist card, add it to your hand. Then when you do that, if, and most likely you will, have 1 face-up or 2 face-up Dinomist cards in your extra deck zone, you can grab one of those Dinomist cards and add it to your hand so you can reset your scales or make some momentum for your scales. Outside of that, the only generic spell card we have, or back row killer, is basically MST. You can replace these MSTs because this deck does negate a lot of back row and effects with, let's say, Drowning, Storming, or Quaking Mirror Force at your leisure, if you want to. Or Solemn Warning and Solemn Strike, and then 1 copy of Mirror Force. Now, let's move on to that extra deck, why don't we? For extra deck love, we have some great staples that you can put in this deck. This is just for a standard pure build, but I will be mentioning some honorable mentions. 2 copies of Mr. Starboy. You can run 3 if you want to. It's a great way to buff up your Dinomist cards because they are water attributed, and it's a generic water attribute staple. For the machine generic staples, we have 3 copies of Cleavefort's Genius. Cleavefort's Genius works well in this deck because you can get its synergy off outside of regular Cleaveforts. Yo, shoutouts to my boy Mark 9. Got his Cleaveforts up and running. Just only if they can get Cleavefort Scout off the ban list, they probably would good. Hashtag free Cleavefort Scouts and Stratos. Free Cleavefort Scouts and Stratos. And also miscellaneous sources if you're feeling generous. But other than that, that's it for the deck profile. Honorable mentions outside of this deck profile. You can run two or three copies of Nova and Infinity, because Nova and Infinity do splash in this build. Also, for some generic machines, I think Fortress Dragon can be summoned in this deck, I believe, because I think Fortress Dragon, all you need is machine monsters and a monster in the extra monster zone, I believe. No, it does require one Cyber Dragon, unfortunately. Very unfortunate. Highly unfortunate, actually. But yeah, outside that, you can splash Cyber Dragon, Infinity, and Nova in here. That way you can make more synergy and cause more terror and mayhem, too. But unfortunately, I'm still waiting on those Cyber Dragon Infinities and Novas in the mail, so unfortunate. But other than that, this is how the deck profile is when it's pure. Like I said, if you want a competitive deck profile, by all means, you can look it up and create some ideas yourself. I just only create the foundation to where it can build your foundation to victory. That is what I do. It's chaotic. It is crazy because no one does it but me. If you do not enjoy it, I am sorry to tell you there are plenty. Actually, you know what? I am not sorry to tell you. There are plenty of other Yu-Gi tubers on the YouTube that can tell you a better competitive deck profile. These are for people that actually enjoy the game outside of competitively and play for fun. If you don't like it, by all means, that is so sorry for you. I feel so terrible. But other than that, yo, this is your boy Chaos Leader, Chaos Hero himself, and I hope you enjoyed this wonderful, this beautiful, this magical deck profile of Dinomist. Be easy. And I'm jump back into the chaos to finish what I started.